Hey, you are in the bed with Dr. Jenn. Everybody wears hats in bed, right? So, I am here to answer your sex and intimacy related questions. Sometimes I will be joined by friends and colleagues, sometimes I will be alone. And as you can see, alas, tonight I am alone. Here is your question. Dear Dr. Jenn, I'm a 28-year-old woman and I've slept with 13 guys. I feel a lot of shame around this number. What can I do to feel better about that? Sincerely, Shameful 13. Such a good question. So I just got this from a client recently. And there's a couple different perspectives to consider. So first I want to ask a few questions. First, is the shame because you're afraid friends will judge you for this number? Or does the shame come from fear that you're going to be shamed by other future partners if they find out your number is 13? Or is this because you judge yourself for this? A way to approach the first two questions is to consider, what have we been taught in our society about what it means to be a sexual woman? And we get very conflicting messages. On one hand, we see and hear in a lot of places that being a sexy woman, being a sexual woman can be very powerful and can be empowering. But at the same time, we're also getting messages that a woman who is sexual under her own terms and pursues pleasure for her own pleasure's sake is highly judged and stigmatized. It's bullshit. But these are the social norms many of us have been taught. So I'm going to move on to the question about whether you judge yourself for this, because I think this is where we have the potential to actually really make a powerful shift. Did you feel good about these sexual encounters? And did you actively choose them and or seek them out? If you chose them and got joy or pleasure, intimacy or connection or whatever it was you were looking for, then good. Good on ya. Own it. You have the right as an adult woman to make responsible choices for yourself around your own sexuality and your own pleasure and how you pursue intimacy. However, did you just go along with some of it? Do what you thought the guys wanted? Or did you drink so much that it didn't matter in the moment? Or did you feel coerced in any way? Or didn't have your voice? Or weren't able to put boundaries in the way that you want? Or make it about his pleasure and not about your pleasure at all? If any of these are the case in any of the 13 that you mentioned, I think this would be a really great time to pause and reflect and ask yourself, why? Why and how did I find myself in those circumstances? What can I learn from them? And is there anything that you could do different moving forward? So this might be a great time to pause and do some journaling and writing on this and reflect. And certainly not in any way as a way to blame yourself, but as a way to take responsibility. If this isn't working for you, what might you be able to do differently? This can be a really great mindfulness exercise. Where do you feel that shame? Do you feel it in your chest, in your face, in your solar plexus, in your gut? Where does it show up for you? How big is it? What size does it have? Does it have a color? Does it have a shape? I know this all sounds bizarre, but if you can acquaint yourself with how shame shows up in your body, and you can learn to sit with it and breathe through it, and know that it's just bodily sensations that are trying to speak to you, but don't have to control you, then you could start to take your power back. And make sure in this process that you have compassion for yourself. Because sitting with our own shame is one of the hardest things any of us can do, because we just want to bury our heads in the sand. And to stay present with it and shine a light on it and own it and still like ourselves, all in the name of breaking bullshit social norms out there, that requires a lot of courage. So pat yourself on the back and be kind to yourself. And as always, sex well and be well.